The party held a press conference today to talk about the issue, and TVJ's Andrea Chisholm was there.
Rampant crime and criminality, reasons given for the state of a public emergency in St. James and St. Catherine North. The one in St. James has been extended until May 2 and St. Catherine North July 3. Those extensions were supported by the opposition, which contributed to the two-thirds majority vote in both houses of parliament. At a press conference on Thursday, though, a message to the government.
I think the government should hear clearly that we are not prepared to extend beyond the current request unless there is some overwhelming reason presented.
And so they repeated the call for a comprehensive crime plan. Murders and shootings may be going down in St. James and St. Catherine North, but in other sections of the island, they are going up. In the St. Andrew South Police Division, for example, a 261% increase in murders. And in St. Andrew Central, shootings have gone up by 169%.
We don't think it is sound policy to have this concentration in two areas while the rest of the country and the citizens in the rest of the country are facing this intolerable increase in the levels of crime in areas.
Opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips reiterated that the framers of the Constitution did not intend for a state of a public emergency to be used for a lengthy period.
These are enormous powers that are provided for in a matter highlighted perhaps most strikingly by the so-called Keith Clark issue.
Mr. Clark was fatally shot by members of the security forces at his home in the 2010 state of a public emergency in the hunt for Christopher Dudu's Coke. In the meantime, the opposition again took issue with hundreds of people being detained without charge, while lawyers for those detained work to protect their human rights and need for balance. The opposition says it does not intend to place the security forces in an intolerable position.
We are not going to leave the security forces in the lurch, but it must be the responsibility of the government to prepare to end this condition.
Andrea Chisholm, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, the opposition leader has apologized for showing his middle fingers in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. Dr. Peter Phillips was asking House showed his middle fingers. He said no offense was taken by House Speaker Pernell Charles or any other member of the House.
However, in light of the misinterpretation and in some instances misrepresentation, I regret using this gesture in what was a light-hearted moment of banter in the House, in fact intended to diffuse any tensions which were arising.
Dr. Phillips, however, noted that the issue should not detract from the crisis facing the Cornwall Regional Hospital.
And speaking of Cornwall Regional Hospital, the opposition says it will be pressing the government for responses to the issues. Without fulsome answers at the next sitting of Parliament, the opposition says it will table the questions. The House of Representatives descended into chaos on Tuesday following a statement from Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton on the matter. On Tuesday's press conference, the opposition outlined its concerns.
The country does not know the adequacy of the arrangements being made to decontaminate the building and who is going to make those assessments as to the adequacy of those arrangements. We have no idea as to the timetable for restoring a satisfactory work environment.
When was the Western Regional Health Authority moved? And is it true that the rent for the new premises is $100,000 a month. It raises a question which was raised by the Jamaica Medical Doctors Association, that it suggests that something was known about the building and that the administrators moved out and left the other staff in the building.
We consider that the whole approach to the sitting of Parliament last Tuesday was one aimed at preventing the opposition from discharging its duties to secure answers to these very important questions.
Meanwhile, the leader of government business in the House of Representatives, Carl Samuda, has responded to those claims.
There is nothing we have to hide. He, the minister, have nothing to hide. He has tried his best. He has worked tirelessly to address this problem, which is not all of his making for sure. It preceded him. But he's trying his best, and he has given his full commitment.
Another politician is now the subject of an investigation by the political ombudsman for suspected breaches of the political code of conduct. The PNP's Denise Daly, the member of parliament for St. Catherine Eastern, suggested that people in green will have to leave her constituency. She was speaking at a recent PNP meeting in Brandel Hill, West Rural St. Andrew. TVJ's Herman Green has that story.
That's the statement from Member of Parliament for St. Catherine Eastern, the PNP's Denise Daly, which has sparked debate on social media and in the political arena. Expressing shock at the situation, the JLP's youth arm, Young Jamaica, led the call for the political ombudsman to immediately investigate the matter, which prompted this response from Donna Parchment Brown.
From where I sit, there is a potential breach of the Agreement and Declaration on Political Conduct in relation to the area of political tribalism and the area of freedom of access. So we're finding that statements made from platforms and in public spaces are creating some level of discord between supporters of different political parties and also breach the code. So on both limbs of the investigative power of the Ombudsman.
But at a PNP press conference on Thursday, PNP President Dr. Peter Phillips suggested that Ms. Daly's statement is being misunderstood.
Denise Daly will be making a statement. It is not the position of the People's National Party, nor do I believe she intended, and that is what she's going to clarify.
Attempts to get that clarification from Ms. Daly today were unsuccessful, as we were told she was at a function. However, the political ombudsman said when she contacted Ms. Daly, she qualified the statement to say it would not be a physical removal. Nonetheless, she said the comment still warrants an investigation, as there could have been a breach of the political code of conduct. Herman Green, TVJ News.
Two brothers who lived in Trenchtown, St. Andrew, were gunned down in their house about 4:30 this morning. Reports are that the gunmen spared the life of the other siblings who watched the ordeal. TVJ's Kirk Wright reports.
Less than a year ago, gunmen prized the window open and shot two sisters in their beds. One subsequently died. This happened on 10th Street in a section of Trenchtown referred to as Zimbabwe. On Thursday, a similar incident unfolded on the same street. Gunmen armed with M16 rifles forced the metal door open and shot two brothers. Both died. The brothers are 20-year-old Damali Wilson and 25-year-old Akeem James.
From all accounts, those two young men are not criminals, but are persons who are gainfully employed.
The gunmen left without hurting the other occupants of the house after the mother of the deceased men begged to spare their lives. Investigators picked up M16 and 9mm spent shells from the scene. Residents of the area were too afraid to speak to the media, but the Member of Parliament, Mark Golden, says the incident has left the community shaken.
We're very saddened by it. As you can see, there are a lot of residences around here, persons who are purchasers of their homes, paying mortgages on their homes or paid off for their homes, titled owners, some of them, most of them. And to have this kind of thing happening in the community is traumatic for everyone and very sad indeed. I just hope that the police, who are here in numbers, get some good intelligence and are able to get to the bottom of it.
There are whispers among the residents that things were brewing in the area. But for Mr. Golding, the attack came as a shock.
Did anybody see this coming? I know, and not necessarily these brothers, but anybody, anticipated that or heard that, the community would have been impacted this way?
Not that I am aware of, in terms of a specific attack like this, but one hears things about persons who are linking with other persons, and all that sort of thing. But when you hear those sorts of things going on, you're never sure when something like this may happen.
Mr. Golding says the Peace Management Initiative has plans to visit the community. Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
Our top story today, parliamentary opposition says it will not support state of emergency extension. And still ahead this evening, Destruction Day, police to destroy billions worth of counterfeit goods. And in business news, Guardian Life looks to real estate to boost profit.
Yesterday, in relation to the murder of his pregnant girlfriend and their 2 children in Green Island, Hanover. This was confirmed in a statement from the Legal Aid Council. The council said a few hours after his arrest, a request was made for Mr. Koo to be removed from the general lockup population and placed in a special area for his safety and security. In the meantime, head of the Hanover Police, Superintendent Sharon Beeput, told our news centre that Mr. Koo will be questioned tomorrow.
The Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Unit, CTOC, will tomorrow destroy more than $1 billion worth of counterfeit goods. Head of CTOC, Assistant Commissioner Fitz Bailey, said stealing or copying intellectual property is out of control and must be tackled aggressively. He was speaking at a press conference this week. TVJ's Vashon Brown has more.
Friday is Destruction Day. You're looking at millions of dollars worth of counterfeit goods. Bags, shoes, alcohol, beauty products, you name it, it's right here. These items will on Friday be destroyed by the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Unit, CTOC. The destruction of the items was ordered by the courts. Head of CTOC, Assistant Commissioner Fitz Bailey, says in 2017, CTOC seized the counterfeit goods valued at $1.2 billion. ACP Bailey says stealing ideas is big business, so laws must be strengthened to reflect modern times.
Those who carry out the act of counterfeiting and piracy are doing so on an industrial scale and acting like professionals. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a worrying development which requires an immediate, concerted, comprehensive, joint response from stakeholders and authorities at national and international level.
Head of the Intellectual Property Rights Unit at CTOC, Victor Barrett, says people should stop buying counterfeit goods because it can also affect their health.
The issue of oversight is lacking in most instances. So you don't know the component parts of these products. You might buy a shoe and you take it home, and the chemical in that shoe is so dangerous to human health that your child might become sick from the shoe. That child might go to the hospital, and then that ailment is passed on to another individual, and then the ripple effect is great.
The Jamaica Customs Agency says it is now in the process of updating its Aged Customs Act to enable it to be more effective in targeting importers of counterfeit items. So how exactly do you identify these counterfeit goods? Lily Claire Bellamy is the Executive Director of the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office, JIPO. She says there are ways to identify legitimate handbags from a designer handbag, for instance.
When you purchase it, it doesn't emit any odors. There's documentation in it. So if you don't have the documentation in the handbag, for example, you know it's not legitimate. There are small things you can't, not small. The stitching is not as perfect. Once you pick up the item, you can know.
CTOC has seized the counterfeit goods valued at more than $600 million over the past 2 months. Several Chinese nationals have been charged in connection with the seizures. Vashon Brown, TVJ News.
In the final part of a primetime news feature, Beyond the Likes, our reporter Kalisha Williams tells us how some social media sites and other applications could be tapping into people's data online without permission.
While people's lives have been made easier by the simple click of a button, It can arguably be said that nothing online is private, from data breaches on Facebook to certain applications tapping into people's data without permission. Concerns have been raised as to whether people can really safeguard their information online. More so, whether certain applications and social media sites like Facebook can now be trusted.
None of us read what they call the EULA, well, either user license agreement for a lot of the software that we buy online and download, or any type of little thing that we have to read this first. We just say, okay, not realizing what we're giving away.
It's an up and down with Facebook. For me, I already deleted my page from Facebook. Yes, I even don't do Instagram no more because it's like the same thing.
Try not to be afraid. Definitely be mindful, but keep an eye on the privacy settings.
But how could some third-party applications be collecting data on social media users? Local technology expert Christopher Record explains.
Persons are using very, very advanced technologies to build profiles on people based upon all the things that we post on social media. And as a result of that, they can figure out what you want to buy, who you like to talk to, what type of news you want to see, what type of vacations you like to take. Based upon all that information, they know you better than your parents know you. They know you better than your spouse knows you.
Jamaica Public Service. He told me that the company has since improved its system to protect customer information.
Our database is pretty extensive, from business customers to residential customers. And we have many different protection points to ensure that the customer's data is protected.
Jamaica has taken steps to safeguard how private and public sector companies provide and protect data in their custody. The Data Protection Bill was tabled in Parliament on October 3rd. But experts believe it all boils down to the individual. As the digital landscape evolves, people should take caution in the information they disseminate online. Kalisha Williams, TVJ News.
A woman who did a C-section at St. Anne's Bay Hospital is accusing the hospital of refusing to care for her after she developed complications. Chrissy Elliott told TVJ News that she has been in pain since surgery and is calling for the health minister to intervene. TVJ's Shamela Mitchell reports.
September 3, 2016 was a bittersweet day for Chrissy Elliott, who gave birth at the St. Anne's Bay Hospital. She was discharged 3 days after the C-section. 2 weeks later, she had fever and pain. So Miss Elliott went back to the hospital and did an ultrasound.
The result came back, I had an incisional hernia. I went back and gave the hospital the results, and they recommended for the date in April, for a date in April 2017. I thought I was going to do this repeated section. I thought they was going to correct it. They didn't correct it, so they gave me another date to come back in July.
And since then, she's been given the runaround.
When I went back down there, they said I have to come back any Tuesday or Thursday to get a different date. I went back one Tuesday, and they said I should come back any Friday to get a different date. So each time I keep going down there, it's been a different story. So now I stopped going down there. I haven't gotten any assistance at all. No doctor has seen the size of the hernia, how big it has grown under my belly.
Incisional hernias are cut made to do a surgery. However, if it's not properly healed, there are complications. Complications that made Miss Elliott unable to work. So she tried to organize a fish fry to raise money. But that didn't work out. On top of that, she has lost faith in the healthcare system.
They said the hospital is free, and then yet, if you don't have links or family through the St. Anne's Bay Hospital, or even any hospital in Jamaica overall, you're not getting any help. I don't know how come. This is very sad.
And so this appeal to Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton.
Please, I'm asking you for any help at all. If you could use some of your power or something and try and get the St. Anne's Bay Hospital to even correct the surgery.
TVJ News contacted the management of the St. Anne's Bay Hospital about the issue on Tuesday, April 17. We were told they would get back to us. Since then, we contacted the hospital's management on 2 more occasions, and we got the same response. Shamela Mitchell, TVJ News.
Another attempt to get public transport operators to use a transportation centre in Port Maria, St. Mary is again creating a stir, as operators say they are losing business to those operating illegally. The legal operators and Mayor Richard Crary insist police are needed to maintain law and order. TVJ's Krista Campbell reports.
Transport operators in Port Maria, St. Mary say the latest attempt at maintaining order in the town has only left them stuck in the transportation centre for up to 3 hours before getting a single busload of passengers.
A long time in no, I can't get no load in here. We just need to go to the road, I get a load and gone already. You see, because nobody people in now come here, people everywhere walk around and little bit. Illegal taxi, I take them up.
Some believe the new move will be nothing more than a 9-day wonder if the police do not get more serious about enforcement.
I get watch buses them alone come around so, right? You have 11 taxi feeder route to come to Port Maria, and you know see none of them are coming around so. But it's like once them get we off of the road, it's like say they're not really business with nothing more again.
The police they will come in early morning, and by the time they come in early morning, by 10 o'clock, then down about them business. You understand? So you have illegal taxi and illegal bus them out there at work, and we the owners are suffer. As long as the
or if not the same amount of money with less hassle. The vendors in the arcade were making more money. It provided law and order, less traffic.
But he says, as with any change, it will take some time for persons to adjust. He noted that indiscipline remains a challenge.
We have persons, in order not to go to the bus park, which is probably 200-300 meters from the center of the town, they will walk almost a mile to Little Bay to get an illegal operator rather than walk 200-300 meters to the bus park.
Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
Before the break, it's time for our feedback responses, and Archie is at the smart board.
Thanks, Lorraine. Here's our question this evening. We're asking, the state of public emergency in St. James expires on Wednesday, May 2. Should it be further extended? Why or why not? Here's the first comment. This person says, state of emergency alone cannot solve Jamaica's crime problem. We need real substantive measures to deal with serious crime. The government crime-fighting measures is state of emergency. Country still waiting on the crime plan, Mr. Prime Minister. This person says, my question is, what is a long-term crime plan for Jamaica? State of emergency and Zozo are supposed to be short-term measures. This person says, yes, it should be extended because it's working well. Crime is down by far. The fourth comment, I personally think it should be extended because of the crime that's taking place. Moreover, instead of having the soldiers lying around and collecting our hard-working taxpayers' money, just let them stay. So, continue, it says that person. This person says, and this is our final comment for this section, it must be stopped. It's the only thing that will make Peter Phillips and the PNP happy. What's a few hundred lives if it gets them back in state power? Keep your comments coming on Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/televisionjamaica, and your tweets to @televisionjam.
Information showing its profit in the 6 months to the end of March was $11 billion. The sum is 15% higher than a year ago. The bank, which is in the midst of a digital transformation, also declared a 70-cent dividend, which will be paid at the end of May. NCB Chairman Michael Lee Chin has taken a significant stake in Ready TV. The announcement made earlier today did not disclose the size of the stake Mr. Lee Chin has taken in the entity or how much he paid for it. It, however, said the investment was made through his company, AIC Jamaica. Ready TV, which was launched in May last year, offers prepaid subscriber TV services and broadband internet. It is operated by businessmen Chris Daring and David Casanova. The company started its rollout last year, offering services in St. Catherine, Kingston, Clarendon, St. Mary, and St. Anne. It recently announced Phase 2 of its network expansion, which spreads its reach to Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Trelawney, St. James, and Westmoreland. Guardian Life is cautiously looking to real estate for a continued boost in profits as interest rates continue to trend down. The outlook comes after a 7.3% annual increase in profit for the year ending December 2017. CEO Eric Hosing says the company is examining all options, including whether to go deeper into the property market. Now, Guardian is currently executing a two-phase real estate project in New Kingston, valued at $6 billion. All the 66 units have already been sold. The other phase of the development at 2 to 4 Musgrave Avenue will comprise 2 high-rises of about 170 units. The price of oil gained on Thursday as investors weighed the risk of renewed U.S. sanctions on Iran, plunging Venezuelan output and robust global demand. Oil for delivery in June rose 14 cents to $68.19 a barrel. The U.S. dollar is selling for $125.56. The Canadian dollar will cost $101.69. The pound sterling for $173.57, while the euro costs $152.62. The Jamaica Stock Exchange main index advanced by 87 points today, while the junior market index lost 22. Some of the advancing stocks were Berger Paints, Grace Kennedy, Jamaica Producers, Scotia Group, and Supreme Ventures. Caribbean Cement, Carreras, JMMB, Mayberry, and Wisynco were